Beneath this silent white desert, the United States once built a secret city, carved into the ice and hidden from the world. Dormitories, a chapel, laboratories, a nuclear reactor. An entire underground town, buried where almost no one would ever think to look. This is the story of Camp Century, the forgotten nuclear city under Greenland's ice, and the ghost it has become for our future. It begins in the early 1960s, at the height of the Cold War, when nuclear weapons and fear of surprise attacks shaped almost every decision. Strategists searched the map for any advantage. Their eyes settled on Greenland, remote, frozen, and perfectly placed between America and the Soviet Union. In 1959, engineers and soldiers landed on Greenland's northwest coast, stepping into temperatures below -40 to begin an unprecedented construction project. They cut deep trenches into the snow, roofed them with steel and timber, and buried them, transforming empty ice into a maze of underground tunnels. Inside, they built a complete outpost of American life. Bunk rooms, a dining hall, workshops, a hospital, even a small chapel under the ice. While storms howled above, men played cards, watched films, lifted weights, and tried to forget they were living inside a frozen experiment. At the heart of this experiment stood a compact nuclear reactor, quietly powering the entire camp, atomic energy sealed inside a hollowed-out glacier. Publicly, Camp Century was a scientific station, drilling ice cores and testing how structures behave in extreme cold. That much was true, but incomplete. Behind classified doors, planners were developing Project Iceworm, a secret plan to turn the Greenland ice sheet into a vast underground missile field. They envisioned hundreds of nuclear missiles hidden in mobile launchers, constantly shifting through tunnels beneath the ice, invisible to enemy satellites and spies. From this frozen labyrinth, warheads could arc across the Arctic and strike targets in the Soviet Union within minutes, a silent dagger in the ice. But it was only one problem: the ice sheet itself. To the naked eye, it looks solid, but in reality, it flows, buckles, and slowly crushes anything inside. Within a few years, ceilings sagged, tunnels warped, and walls cracked. The glacier was methodically squeezing the city it had been forced to swallow. Engineers realized the truth: the ice would always win. Maintaining a stable missile network under a moving glacier was dangerously impractical. Project Iceworm was doomed. By 1967, the United States shut down Camp Century. The nuclear reactor was dismantled and shipped away, and the last personnel left the underground base. But much was left behind: metal structures, fuel residues, chemical waste, sewage, and construction debris, all abandoned, entombed in snow and ice. At the time, the logic seemed simple and final. The ice sheet was eternal. Whatever remained inside would stay frozen, sealed away forever. Year after year, storms buried the site under new layers of snow. On the surface, every trace of Camp Century vanished into a featureless white horizon. In government archives, the documents about Project Iceworm stayed stamped classified. For decades, the world largely forgot that a city had once existed here. Meanwhile, scientists began flying radar-equipped aircraft over Greenland, using radio waves to peer through the ice and map its hidden interior in remarkable detail. On some of those radar profiles, researchers noticed an odd pattern: long, straight lines and right angles deep within the ice, shapes nature rarely creates. When they compared those shapes to declassified plans of Camp Century, the match was unmistakable. The lost city still lingered, preserved inside the glacier. But in the decades since Camp Century closed, Greenland's climate has changed. The ice sheet is thinning and melting faster than anyone in 1967 imagined. Regions once thought permanently stable may, in coming centuries, begin to experience net melting, turning eternal ice into slowly moving water. If meltwater ever reaches those buried wastes, it could start to mobilize fuel residues, toxic chemicals, and other contaminants, carrying them toward the surface and the sea. That raises a stark question: who bears responsibility politically, legally, and morally for cleaning up a secret Cold War project hidden on another nation's ice? Under Greenland's calm white surface, the Cold War still lingers, waiting. Should we leave this ghost buried or confront what we chose to hide there? If this hidden history beneath the ice fascinated you, tap like so this investigation reaches more curious minds. Tell me in the comments which mystery the synthetic oracle should decode next, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next story waiting under the surface.